die-hard fans, please look to the blue corner. His professional record is 1 win and 1 loss. His height is 5 foot 5 inches tall, and he weighs in at 125 pounds. By way of Pittsburgh and Three Elements Gym in Erie, Pennsylvania, his name is Nolan Stahl. And in the red corner, his record is 2 wins, 1 loss. His height is 5 foot 4 inches, and his weight is 130 pounds. He trains with the Cage MMA out of Birmingham, Alabama, and his name is Elliot Conn. Joel Forsyth will be your referee for this fight.
Elliot definitely has the local fan advantage.
I'll tell you this right now. I mean, these guys are been mean-mugging each other since they got in there.
I think it's going to take off quickly. I look for fireworks right out of the gates.
Yeah, I would expect for Elliot Conn to run across the cage and try and double leg Stahl, excuse me.
Well, both fighters kind of decided against that, I guess. Still throwing pretty quickly. Elliot, though, now to pin to try to get the takedown.
You know, Eric, as we talked earlier, a lot of wrestlers, they lead with their power hand. So you're looking at Elliot Conn as a southpaw, but I'm not so sure. You know,
he's a righty.
He's a righty.
So you already know his mission is to get the takedown.
Yeah.
Elliot seems dead set to get this takedown. Is it too early to start pushing that, or should he maybe take a few minutes and feel this fight out a little more?
Man, you know, he's a wrestler, and this is what he does. You know, this is his best chance to win the fight. So to have Stahl on his back early and often, that's what he wants.
Yeah, you know, what's crazy is guys that grew up wrestling, when they're tired, they shoot for takedowns. Guys that kind of took on to wrestling a little bit later on, they'll never shoot when they're tired. No. It's a different mentality for a wrestler.
Both fighters back to their feet now. Elliot's got a little bit of redness on his head already.
He took a hard right punch in that opening exchange.
It looks like if this fight stays on their feet, this could be pretty exciting with a lot of flurries.
They are touching each other.
Yeah, Nolan Stahl is doing a real good job staying long. You know, and Elliot Conn is, I mean, all the way up until this, he's been cool, calm, and collective, man. Like, when he told me this was the fighter, I'm like, oh, him? The guy that's really relaxed out of the three of you?
Just a down-home country boy is the way that I would
he landed a solid right hand just then. You know, I expect him to follow the next one up. There you go.
Well, Elliot's been training MMA, though, for several years, so there's been there is no lack of experience or comfort on his part.
Yeah, the thing with Nolan Stahl is, you know, when you talk to him, hey, man, what are you most proud of your career? He's like, every time I go in there, I fight for my kids. I'm a proud father. You know, anytime I hear a response like that, man, it's just, I'm in.
You know, Nolan Stahl is doing a good job with being a righty, circling to Elliot Conn's weak side. And he's working that calf kick, too,
It's
man.
a lot of good leg kicks that if this fight goes 3 rounds, toward the 3rd round, it'll start.
And both of you guys have told me that Elliot Conn is a right-handed fighter, but he's leading with that power hand.
So he can do what he's doing right now.
Yep, absolutely.
Good sprawl, though, here.
Yeah, and, you know, the boxing counter to that is load up on your right hand if you're Nolan Stahl. You know, your right hand is now your jab.
Stahl's got that right arm, but it looks like he's going to have to give it up. Or got his right arm around Elliot's head, but that's not there anymore. Elliot now just needs to suck him to him and finish his takedown.
You know, Nolan's doing a good job posting on that bottom hand and getting his hips and his back to the cage. Being creative with the strikes
That was a pretty creative little flare with his right arm.
Yeah, he's just kind of making him uncomfortable. You know, both these guys, you know, coming up on 30 years of age, you know, it's kind of time to turn it up. Like, if you want to make it to the big show, you got to take as many fights as you can right now.
You got to move.
Yeah, for sure.
At these weights, it's going to take 10, 12 fights.
100%.
Most cases to get to the pros.
Absolutely.
Now, Elliot John did a good job of getting his hands locked and then not unlocking them. Then you get that body lock takedown.
I don't know how comfortable Stahl is on the ground, but he is very good at getting up. Every time Elliot has had a hard time doing
it. If you look at him right now, his left hand is on the door well, and he's been pushing off that door well.
He's had a little cage assistance.
Yeah, it's a high IQ, in cage IQ. That's what I refer to that as.
The ref got to give you a warning first.
Few good punches there by Elliot on the way up.
Yeah, referee is he's onto it. And Nolan, he's getting away with it, so you can't blame him for taking what you're given.
You got to try. In MMA, I hate to say it like this, but you get one warning. Why leave it out there if you could use it to your advantage?
Yeah, Nolan's a game fighter.
Elliot Conn's lead leg is looking. Got cherries all over it already.
Yeah.
End of round one. Gentlemen, from my standpoint of view, that seems like a pretty hard round to call.
If I were to give Nolan any advice, I'd say give up on the 1-2s and start coming with some 3s and 4s.
With that leg kick that he's throwing to Elliot Conn's lead leg, it's going to pay dividends if this fight goes into the third round.
Absolutely.
It's going to be really hard for Elliot Conn to explode off that leg and finish these takedowns like he's doing.
Both fighters still look fairly relaxed. You would expect that at this weight class, though. Their cardio should be pretty on point.
Well, Elliot Conn looked like he expended a lot of energy fighting for those takedowns, but I'm looking at him right here, and it doesn't look like he's breathing hard at all. Which is pretty impressive.
Yeah, the one surprising thing for me up until this point, they're not taking the mouthpieces out of the fighter's mouth when they're in the corner. And I get it, nasal breathing is super important, but so is
you want all that oxygen.
Yeah.
Round number 2, our referee, Joel Forsyth, is about ready to call them to the center of the ring to get this thing started. Here we go, both riders slapping hands. Now let's see what happens in round number 2.
Yeah, Nolan's got to, along with that leg kick, he's going to have to start coming with more than just a 1-2 punch combination in these exchanges.
Elliot's got to start checking those kicks a little bit, though. Or since he's right-handed, does he look at swapping his lead leg right now?
I don't know why. If his power hand is his right hand.
Maybe he is the lefty. He looks pretty comfortable in that left-handed stance.
Yeah.
That right leg, though, of Elliott's is still showing some definite wear and tear with some red marks.
He's got to give it back, which is what he's doing. You can't just take those and not give it back. And, they're looking almost like they're wrapping around. And when you hit the calf with those, that's pretty painful. And you feel it right away, too. It's not one of those things where it's tomorrow. You're feeling it probably the next round.
Well, there's also a nerve in that lower leg on the outside that, if you hit it too many times, it'll give you a drop foot. And you'll see guys like Sean O'Malley, they try to step forward. And that foot doesn't pick up off the ground.
And look at, he's countering. Elliot Conn is countering with the front leg of Nolan Stahl.
One thing that's impressing me, though, is Nolan is staying really tall and making it hard on Elliot to get in on his feet unless he should take it going in for a takedown.
Well, if you look at Elliot, what Elliot's doing is he's catching him on a counter. Nolan's walking him down, and he's catching him on a step, and he's chewing up his leg, much like he was doing to Elliot in that first round.
And I think Elliot's getting the better of these exchanges.
I think so too.
Nolan's throwing those outside kicks, but he's starting to check them now.
And you know what? You can sit here and say, well, Nolan's walking through, but sometimes you got to kind of change your angle because you can take those, but you shouldn't, especially if you don't have to.
Angles is something in MMA that I think a lot of times should be stressed more because an angle can really learning how to.
Footwork's everything, man.
Man, learning your angles. You know, Stephen Wonderboy Thompson to me is one of the greatest guys at knowing his angles. He seems to be always in distance and always out.
Okay, so what you're seeing now is what Nolan is doing is he's taking those front leg kicks, but when he's throwing his punches, he's leaving it off the ground, and his punches aren't carrying as much power right now because he's trying not to get hit with that. So he's lifting his leg foot off while he's coming in with a heavy punch because he doesn't want to take that damage.
You know, do you think that's something
and he's
Elliot's
stuck in a 1-2. He's still stuck in a 1-2. He's got to get to
We've
that
not
3
seen
and 4.
anything except that 1-2 from him.
Absolutely. And you know, Elliot's a wrestler. Elliot's not moving forward for the stand-up because what he's doing is he's picking them apart right now. He's just countering.
Nice check hook.
If you know your opponent's a wrestler and at some point in the fight he quits shooting coming in for takedowns, do you get nervous?
Dude, he's hurting Nolan Stahl with those inside kicks.
Yeah, no, I mean it's
You can
the
see,
grimace on his face on that last exchange was very, very telling.
you can see it in his face. You know, it's kind of upsetting him. You know,
And it's
rushing in afterwards.
It's disrupting his stand-up. Yeah.
And now he's switching stances. That's how you know he's hurt.
Yeah. And you know what? If I'm Elliot,
Keep doing it to the other leg.
keep doing well, or go for that takedown.
Elliot
He's gonna
started
kick
with
him
that
in the
leg about a minute into round 2. Do you think that was something his corner said, or do you think that was something Elliot kind of just
I
realized?
think he kind of realized it because he didn't throw very many
Yes,
in the first round.
Yeah, he caught a few towards the end of that first round, and saw the opening was there, and now he's catching it.
Nolan, though, seems to
getting
be
wild.
a little more aggressive the last couple of seconds.
He's getting aggressive, but it's a wild aggressive.
It is. And look, when you get wild with a wrestler, what happens?
Yeah, that.
And now he's got that wrist control on the bottom side, so
I look for Elliot to try to pass real quick.
there's only one direction for Nolan to go, and that's to his belly.
Yeah, corner's calling it too, man. Yep.
Yep.
If he tries to like seat roll, he's gonna get his back taken.
Elliot doing well, oh man, look at good little scramble
Nice.
to get him back into to guard. I was looking to see
He's gonna pop his head up. Oh, maybe not.
Yeah, it's almost like he hit an opportunity to push out of the position, and he put himself back in it.
end of round number 2. Even though Nolan finished that round pretty strong, I still think that Elliot probably.
Well, I can tell you,
That's for sure Elliot's round.
yeah, for sure. But I tell you what, I think that guillotine was in pretty tight. Based on how Elliot got up, he was struggling for air.
And he's got a minute to clear his head, clear the cobwebs, and get back to work on that lead leg.
Yeah, Nolan finished strong, but it's kind of a confidence builder. You got your leg eating up the whole match, and you ended in a dominant position. You didn't win a round, but you got a mental edge going into the third.
But really, if you're both fighters' corners, you're telling your fighter, we don't know who's leading on the scorecard at round number 3. You need to go finish now.
Well, that first round I thought was Elliot's, but it wasn't definitive.
Right.
Yeah, I think Elliot's up 2-0.
In theory, I agree, but you leave it to the judges.
Yeah.
It's one of those fights that's close enough that you can't take a risk.
Absolutely.
And these guys are pros. A loss sets these guys back pretty far.
Especially in this division.
You was talking about being 30 years old. But these are, I hate to say must wins, but these are very important wins for these guys.
Yeah, they're 27 and 29, so they're coming close. To that.
Well, let me tell you, when half your paycheck is on the line, every fight is a must-win.
It's true. It's true.
It always hurts a little bit less when you get both checks.
And there's not as many opportunities now. For the last 8 months, there's not a lot of opportunities. In this sport for guys, and the fights are few and far between.
And if you get one, you better put on a show so somebody else wants you again, right?
Absolutely.
Good thing about the B2. Ooh, he stuck him with that straight.
No, you're right, but it was a 1-2 again. He needs to get that 3-4 in. And Elliot, after feeling that, goes right back to his roots.
As he should.
Well, it's hard to eat a 1-2 if your opponent's on his back.
Both these guys fighting hard.
Nolan Stahl delivering some. How annoying is it? I know those punches aren't super heavy, but how annoying is it when you're trying to do that, Eric?
Those elbows can end the fight. The punches, not so much, but those elbows do damage.
You see him. Kind of.
I would like to see Elliot I would like to see Elliot maybe push back and let this get back to the center of the cage.
He ate that one. I think that this is what the third round is going to be. He's not unlocking those hands.
So he's going to sell out for the takedown.
He is.
Yeah, if I'm Conn, I'm pounding on that ear. I'm throwing the elbow to the side of the head. Or Nolan Stahl, I apologize. But yeah, Nolan is he's hard to keep down, man. He keeps jumping up.
Well, the thing is, when Elliot picks him up, he needs to turn him and put him off the cage.
Off the cage, yeah, absolutely.
And it'd be way harder for him to get up.
Nolan, though, is a master, though, about sneaking in grabs on the fence.
If you look, he just positioned himself. He is
got
in
that Khabib
full mount.
Oh, yeah.
Nope. There we go. Yeah, he had that Khabib leg lock, man. All he had to do was keep climbing up.
Elliot now fighting. A lot of hand control going on to see if Elliot can finish this.
Yeah, I think he might be taking a point.
To lose a point.
Yeah, and you know what? I agree with that.
He has grabbed this fence every round.
You know, and he was warned in the first round. Yeah.
Well, that's what happened. If you give up your warning, you've got to be smart to not do it again.
Well, I think the rule is if he would have gotten taken down without using his hand, they start Elliot in the takedown position.
And I'm going to tell you what, man. Do you know who was very vocal about that? The commissioner. The commissioner was instructing the referee. He's not sitting idle. You know, he's somebody that's active, and you know, very rarely do you see somebody in that position that actually deserves to be there.
Yeah, no, we're very lucky to have
Stan Frierson, our chief inspector, knows what he's doing, and he's a student of the game. That's one thing that I've noticed about, you know, Alabama was kind of late to the sanctioning process. But, man, a lot of their people in authority have become students to learn everything about it.
When you do your job, it's real easy just to kind of sit back and chill out. The guy's active, you know, and it's super, super important. And right now, Nolan Stahl is creating problems for Elliot Conn.
You know, but Nolan's got to, with losing that point in this round, Nolan has to finish this fight to get a win, does he not?
He's got to throw caution to win, yeah.
You know, there's no choice. Elliot's job now is just to ride him out, wouldn't you say?
Well, Elliot's job is to win the fight. Hopefully, you know, he can get a finish, but Nolan Stahl definitely needs a finish, especially after losing that point in this round that he was already losing to begin with.
And you know what? He didn't complain too much about it. Like, he knew he had it coming.
You got me. You got me.
Well, he admitted to the crime. A little honor in that.
Well, Elliot now glancing over here at the corner and just trying to make sure he stays busy enough. At this point, though, should Elliot be trying to push for the finish or just relaxing?
I think he should always be pushing to the finish, especially on the indie scene.
I would like to know how bad those two straight rights affected Elliot Conn.
Well, we'll find out here in a second because I'll ask him about it in the ring.
Yeah, there was a kind of a high knee right there. He's got to be careful not to knee Nolan Stahl in the head.
Elliot said he's got a point to lose. He'll take the foul.
Sometimes you got to take that risk.
Yeah,
Eric,
you
right?
got to take it back. You got to get that tax.
Eric's the one. that has that soccer kick to the guy's head, where the guy's hand is literally half an inch off the ground.
Totally legal. Totally legal.
End of 3 rounds.
And we're under the judge's decision. And you know, if you look at Elliot Conn, he finished strong, and he can go another 2 rounds, man. That boy's got some gas in his tank.
Well, at 130 pounds, you would expect these guys, though, to be able to go a while.
You have to. You have to be able to have that motor. Uh-oh.
And that's where the referee took the point. It was good. It was good. Good call on the ref.
Folks, after 3 grueling 5-minute rounds, all 3 judges have judged this and scored it in favor of the red corner, Elliot Conn.
Elliot, come join me here just for a second. Let him get his shirt on, advertising the gym that he's at, Cage Mixed Martial Arts. Absolutely, man. Elliot, let's look over this way. Congratulations on the win tonight. Quick question, though. Early on, in the round, he caught you with a 1-2 coming in, and you went to a shot. How did that bother you or affect you?
I mean, like, it hurt in the fact of, like, oh, shit, he hit me. That didn't feel good. Like, I wasn't rocked or nothing. He landed real clean. I knew he was going to keep pressing. So I was like, wait to see him cock, drop levels.
Man, he was after you in the first round with a lot of leg kicks, and then I saw a second round, third round, man, you reversed that on him, did a lot of job. Was that something that was part of the game plan, or did it evolve as it came along?
I'm not even going to bull crap around it. Our game plan coming in this fight was have fun, do me. That's what I did. You know, it's been almost 2 years since my last fight. So I kind of felt like I had some rust going. It was good to get in here, break it off against a tough guy. You know, Nolan's a tough dude. But, yeah, I really didn't have much of a game plan. Just kind of let it all happen. You know, just did me.
One last question. How important is it to get this win in front of the home crowd here in the local area where you grew up, man, and got most of your fights?
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. Anybody who knows me knows I've been very adamant about it. But in a month, I get to marry that beautiful woman over there, and I absolutely can't wait. You know, I got to thank my coaches, my teammates. They all helped me prepare tremendously, but she's been sitting at home, cooking for me, taking care of me, you know, kissing my boo-boos, stuff like that, man. And I just, life is good right now.
Congratulations on the big win tonight. Give it up one more time for Mr. Elliot Conn.